This example gives f of x equals x squared plus 4x minus 9 and asks us to find the inverse of f of x. So we have the standard steps for finding the inverse. These will get us started, but we're going to run into some interesting trouble with this because we're trying to find the inverse of a trinomial. Let's just move forward with it, and I'll show you where things go off the rails a little bit and show you how to fix it. Okay, so the first thing we do is replace f of x with y. So we have y equals x squared plus 4x minus 9. Next we swap x and y, so x equals y squared plus 4y minus 9. And then we want to solve this for y. But if you look at it for a little bit, unless you know exactly what to do here, it can be pretty challenging to solve that for y. Right? And you may want to pause the video and play with it a little bit, see if you can solve this equation for y. It turns out we need to use completing the square here. So we'll write this as x equals, okay, y squared plus 4y. Here's how you do it. You leave some space here. Remember, completing the square, you take your linear term, divide by 2, and square it. Okay, so 4 divided by 2 is 2, squared is 4, so I'm going to add 4 and subtract 4, just right next to each other, and then I still have my minus 9 hanging out here, which I will do in black. Okay, minus 9. So all I did was add 4 and subtract 4. Now we have our perfect square trinomial here for completing the square, right? So y squared plus 4y plus 4 now becomes, let's go over here with it, x equals y plus 2 squared, and then the minus 4 and the minus 9 combine to give us minus 13. And now we're back in business, right? Now we can solve this for y. Add 13 to both sides. X plus 13 equals y plus 2 squared. Square root both sides. I'm just going to take the positive square root instead of the plus or minus because I want this to be a function, right? The inverse is a function after all. So I'll just take the positive version. We could go a little bit deeper into making sure the domains match and everything, but let's just keep it cool like that. Just take the positive version and then solve for y. So finally here we have y equals square root of x plus 13 minus 2. And that's our inverse function. F inverse of x, last step of our steps here. Replace that y with f inverse of x just to make it look right. Square root of x plus 13 minus 2. There we go. And now, just to get the domain in there as well, the domain of the inverse, we can look at this and we say that the domain, let's do it here. Okay, the domain is, well, we can look at this. How about negative 13? I'm just keeping the inside of that square root positive, so that would be negative 13 off to infinity if you wanted the domain of the inverse as well.